Okay, so let's get down to the main reason why we're here, which is Mimosa. So Mimosa is an outdoor wireless product, a brand. It's not Wi-Fi, it's specifically outdoor wireless. So it's hybrid fiber wireless solutions. Just a bit of overview about Mimosa. They have been in the game for about 8 years now. They have over 10,000 ISPs and enterprise customers. They're deployed in over 200 countries, carrier-proven telco, cable, ISP customers, and they have global operation between USA and Turkey. They have global operation, and I'll explain to you why they've done that later on in the oncoming slides. And they were acquired by Airspan in November 2018. So that's just a bit of an overview, just to let you know that Mimosa does have a presence in the industry, and they know what they do. Okay. So Mimosa provides, now just a brief summary on what Mimosa provides, just to give you a clearer idea. Mimosa provides fiber-fast broadband connectivity to suburban and urban and hard-to-reach areas. So your point-to-point, point-to-multipoint, long-distance solutions, that's the kind of solutions we're looking at. And then price to performance is far superior to copper, fiber, and alternative wireless technologies. So the performance you get out of these equipments for the price that you're paying is quite, it's quite great. And then unprecedented levels of efficiency, sharing spectrum concurrently across the entire network. Now Mimosa has created certain protocols and features which allows their devices to work well in crowded spectrums and use it more efficiently. Okay. And then rapid, easy deployment of wireless network voice, video, and data services. So you can use it for surveillance or other type of solutions. Okay, just a few awards worth mentioning: best customer support, best user interface, lowest cost per bit, 40 and 80 megahertz. And these were all at Whisperpalooza. Okay, so they are quite well known. They're doing good. It's a reliable brand, and it's being noticed. Okay. So to start on the 4 pillars is what I'd say is the 4 pillars of what makes Mimosa a great brand and what they focus on. Is the first one is MIMO, massive capacity, which is how they got their name Mimosa. It's because they focus largely on MIMO feature. Now, MIMO is a technology that uses multipath to provide higher data throughput and simultaneously increase the range and reliability without consuming extra radio frequency. It solves the problems of speed and range. So that's something that they've incorporated into all their devices to ensure you get the highest throughput and massive capacity. Okay. Then the second one is TDMA. TDMA, time division multiple access. This allows several users to share the same frequency channel by dividing the signal into different time slots. Okay, that way the users won't transmit at the same time, so the client devices or the end user will not communicate at the same time and interfere with each other. So this is something that they've also built into their products. Okay, then the third one is spectrum reuse. Now, Mimosa has created a protocol called SRS, which is spectrum reuse, which they have put into all their radios to ensure that it's used, that the devices are used as effective as possible. So what this solves is high density fixed wireless challenge. Okay, allowing the access point to smartly reuse channels across the entire network. Now, what the benefits of this SRS, or spectrum reuse, is it reduces the amount of spectrum needed to deliver high throughput and allows more client devices on the network. Okay, faster speeds for client devices Now, what that does, it allows faster speeds for the client devices because the spectrum is used more efficiently. And now that allows for larger channels, which results in fiber speeds, fiber light speeds. And that is how they've achieved, or they're able to achieve those throughputs. Okay, and then lastly is cloud orchestration, which we'll go to in the next few slides coming on. But basically, that's the Mimosa cloud, where you monitor everything, you can manage everything with ease, and also that is license free. But we will go into that later on in the presentation. Okay, and then just to look at the products, the product offering, and to classify, it's very, very simple. A is for access point, B is for backhaul, C is for client device, A antenna is the access point antenna, C antenna is the client device antenna, and then your NMS is your cloud management system and your network design tool. Very brief, easy classification. Okay, so to get started, I will start on the point-to-multipoint products. These are your backhaul radios. So the first one we'll look at is the B5. Now the B5 is connectorized. Okay, please note that it does operate with an extended frequency. That's a very nice perk of using Mimosa, is that all the radios can go into licensed frequencies, and you can go into licensed and unlicensed with the same equipment. Okay, so as you can see, this radio has two N-type connectors. This radio is compatible with any third-party antenna, but please make sure that your antenna can handle the frequency of whichever choice of frequency you do use. Okay. It has a 1.5 gigabit aggregate throughput. Now, please remember this is not fixed across the board. It can change depending on factors, which is why we would always recommend our clients to first come to us to help you do some planning, link planning, and then, or maybe you can do it yourself on the Mimosa website and cloud design tool, which is free. But please don't think that if I say 1.5 gigs now, that's what you'll be getting. It's always wise to do planning, see what you're up against out there, and then get the best result from it. Okay. So the radio is IP67 rated. It's quite a strong device. It will get you through any bad weather or harsh conditions. And then SRS, as I explained, is the spectrum reuse feature, which is already on the radio. And then a really cool feature is the dual link. Now, this radio is capable of keeping your links up on two independent operating channels, and adapt using auto everything technology to resolve proactively and deliver optimal link speeds and reliability. So what it does is it will operate on two channels. Say for instance it's 80, so it will split it into two 40s, and it will work on both of those channels. And what it does is if there's interference on one channel, it will jump onto the cleaner channel, which means there's never downtime for the radio. It will always be up and running. And then auto everything is basically setting the radio to look after itself. Depending on the factors and the conditions of the environment, it will automatically adjust to perform at the best within the circumstances that it has or it's in. So that's the B5C. It is a connectorized radio, and as I said, it is compatible with any third-party antennas, but please make sure your antenna can support the frequency in which you want to work the radio in. Right. Then the next one is the B5. The B5 is very, very similar to the B5C. The only difference is that it's the only radio out of the Mimosa family that works within 5 gigahertz. So there's no extended frequencies here. And then also it is integrated. So it has an integrated antenna of 25 dBi, and it could do a good 10 kilometers. Okay, if you're looking for good throughputs, you wouldn't push it more than 10. Okay, similar to the B5, it's IP67, SRS, dual link, auto everything. So this B5 you'd use for your shorter links, but where you're looking for high throughputs, this would be the perfect radio for such solution. Okay, next is the B11. So the B11 is a It operates within 10 to 11.7. It is licensed. So if you want to use one of these, you have to make sure that you've got your paperwork right with ICASA. It's 1.5 gigabits per second, 50 kilometers. It's capable of 50 kilometers with the antenna down here. If you can see, 680 millimeter dish, which we do stock, and the 400 millimeter, which Miro does stock. With the 680, you can push close to 50 kilometers, of course, considering that factors are favorable. But if you ever have an application where you want to push more than 50, you're more than welcome to come to us and ask us about this option over here, and we can bring it in for you and see how we can assist you. What's nice about the B11 is that the antennas are waveguide. So with normal antennas that need cable, you will get loss. Okay, you get cable loss, and that can sometimes affect your link. But with the B11, it's waveguide, and your loss is very, very minimal. What's also nice about the B11, if you see over here, you can plug it up by Ethernet, which is on this side, normal Ethernet, or you can plug it up via fiber. Okay, but please note that the SFP cage is not included, that you'll have to get separately, but the B11 can be powered up by fiber, straight by fiber. Okay, and yeah, that's everything about the B11 radio.
Dinesh, can I quickly interrupt there? I think it's also important just to explain the limitations from ICASA's side using this unit in South Africa, perhaps.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that, or would you like me to take that one?
Could you please help me out there?
All right, perfect. Okay, so 11 gigahertz is obviously one of the most popular frequencies to use for point-to-point links in South Africa. It is a licensed frequency, and you do license that the usage of it per link. So it is extremely cost-effective. You can look at for rural areas, you can look at licensing fees of around about 2,000 Rand per annum. And when you go into sort of metro areas, city, towns, etc., it can go up to around about 20,000 Rand per year, which is still pretty cost effective if you consider what else is available out there in terms of ICASA licensing. However, this radio is a TDD radio, so time division duplex. And ICASA in South Africa do stipulate that you are only allowed to use FDD radios on 11 gigahertz at least. So this is probably the perfect radio to utilize in countries outside of South Africa. We do sell a ton of these in Namibia, Botswana, Mozambique, etc., etc. So for all your projects, maybe in our neighboring countries or up into Africa or even abroad, other countries, you definitely can have a look at this one. But in South Africa, we do have a few limitations that we are discussing with ICASA. But for now, it does remain a bit of a problem.
Okay, great. Thank you for that.
Oh, you can continue.
Thank you. Okay, and then just to explain something that I did forget to mention was that the backhaul radios, you can co-locate them. Actually, with all the radios, you can co-locate. That's simply by a feature called gender selection. So say for instance, if you look at the diagram over here, so the first link is you had up and running, but now you want to add another link or do a multi-hop, but now you don't want the radios to interfere with each other, and all you do is once you put up the second link, make sure that your links a gender is selected on your radio. So as you can see here, the station over here is gender B, and the access point is gender A, and then this side, the access point is B, and the station is A. So that's something that they've created so that you can co-locate your radios without having any interference between your links. Okay, and then just to sum up how it would typically look like. So this is your fiber coming through to your radio. For instance, you're powering your backhaul with fiber, which would then communicate with the other backhaul radio at the end, which you then power up your point to multi-point access point, and then you go into a point to multi-point solution. So that's a perfect idea for if you don't want to trench all the way, or it's just too far, or you want to save a few bucks. This would be a perfect solution. Just get two backhaul radios, depending on the distance, and get that space covered wirelessly. Okay. And then now we're going more into the point-to-multipoint solution. But firstly, I want to pay attention and focus on the feature called Micropop from Mimosa. Basically, the Micropop is a solution for where fiber can't go, or if you would prefer to have a less messy installation or solution, but you still want the same throughput. So this is something that would be an ideal solution for that. So it's fiber fast speeds. We're looking at about 300 megabits upstream and downstream. As I said before, you have to always consider the factors in the environment in which you are, putting the solution. You have to always do planning to make sure, but it is capable of going up to 300 megabits per second. So it's very fiber-like. And then it's low cost and it's very easy. So in terms of like waiting for wayleaves and trenching and paying a lot of people to trench, you could be saving a lot more by just having one or two technicians put this up for you. And as you can see over here, it says 1/10 of the cost of fiber, and I think you can imagine why. So this is very effective if you're looking for fiber-like, but you don't want to spend as much money or time. Okay, so as you can see, this over here is the A5C, which I will show you and I will explain to you, is the access point. And this is the Omni antenna. So this is a setup. This is what it would look like, say for instance in a nice estate, or a nice closed off high density area. If you don't want to get trenching done in a nice estate and mess up the roads and have cables hanging all over the place, this is something you could look at. It's built to scale in terms of all the features, GPS and TDMA, and it's minimal visual impact. It's a very good looking setup. Okay, and now I'm just going to go through the products that make a Micropop. So the first thing we look at is the access point, which is the A5C. It is connectorized. Please note it does operate within 4.9 to 6.4 gigahertz. So it can go from licensed to unlicensed, and it operates within two modes. So those modes are called SRS, which I've explained to you. So that's Mimosa's protocol, and then there's Wi-Fi interop, which means it can also communicate with third-party devices. And something to understand is that you have to ensure that the third-party device is also allowed to work with the radio. You should always make sure that the third party doesn't also have their protocols that blocks off, third-party devices. So make sure that they're compatible with each other, but just know that the A5C can be used with third-party devices. But then you are taking a hit on the perks of using SRS, because remember, with SRS, you have all the features such as TDMA, spectrum reuse, the GPS sync, and all those nice features. But the minute you move into Wi-Fi interop, you actually lose all those benefits. So it is recommended, if you want to use the A5C, to pair it with the matching client device. Okay. Also to note is that in SRS mode, you can link up to 44 clients per AP, and in Wi-Fi interop, you can link up to 100 clients per AP. Okay. This is a 1.5 gigabit radio aggregate. It's 4x4 MIMO. Can achieve beamforming with the Mimosa sector and the Omni antenna, which I will get to in the next coming slides. Okay, so this is what you'd use for your Micropop solution. And then this also you can use, this is the A5X, it's new to the family. So in situations where you don't need the power or the range, you can then look at the A5X. It's basically half of the A5C in terms of its features. It's a 700 megabit per second radio aggregate, and it's a 2x2 port connectorized. So this you can use with a 2x2, any third party 2x2 port antennas, but it would be recommended to use the 2-port sector antenna from Mimosa for best results, which we'll get to in the next coming slides. And also what's nice about this radio, it's also extended frequency. So you can start in a unlicensed spectrum, and if things go well and you can afford to go into license, you can simply switch over without changing your devices. So the A5X is basically just a more cost-effective version of the A5C. Okay, and then this is the Omni antenna, the N5360, which is a 13 dBi micropop antenna. So what's cool about this antenna and why it can perform beamforming is because there's 480-degree panels, overlapping antennas, polarization, that enable range extending beamforming technology. So this Omni antenna with the A5C is able to do beamforming. Please note it also has extended frequencies, which you can use if you pair it with the A5C. RF connectors, it's 4N type, as you can see here. And what's nice about this, Mimosa already includes all the connectors and the cables, so you don't have to run around looking for, you don't have to go and spend extra money looking for connectors and cables. So that's all included with the antenna. And this would be your perfect, so the Omni and the AP would be your micropop solution installation, and this could do 500 meters coverage. So that's how much you can do. If you push further, you will be taking a hit on your throughput, but that's up to you and to your client's requirements. So this would be your typical micropop setup. Okay, and then next is the C5X. So this is the client device from Mimosa. As you can see over here in the picture, as it has an 8 dBi integrated antenna. Okay, that's for very short distance. So if you're looking at doing a micropop within 500 meters, you can easily cover it by just using the C5X as it is. But if you want to go further, all you do is look at these options over here, which Mimosa has introduced. It's just on antennas. So we have the 12 dBi, the 16 dBi, the 20 dBi, and the 25 dBi. Miro currently stocks the 20 and the 25 dBi. And what's nice about this, it's easy to install. All you do is like screw it on, screw the pin, the little pin over here, and you're done. You're good to go. What's also really cool about this radio is that it can be used as a point-to-point radio. So if you have a nice short link that you wanna get up and not like hectic throughputs, you can definitely use the C5X. On a point-to-point, you can get about 350 up and down megabits per second, and on point-to-multipoint, you can get about 250 up and down. Okay, so that's a really cool device, easy installation. Yes, and it also operates within 4.9 to 6.4 gigahertz. Okay, and so that was the micropop. So that was your short distance, high dense solution or application. But now what's nice about the A5C, it's also built for long distance architecture. So for instance, if you have a sort of you want to cover about say 15 Ks, but you want 360 coverage, you would look at a solution as such. So you would have these radios back to back on each on one tower with sector antennas on each AP, and this would give you a coverage of 360 up to 15 kilometers. Now remember, per AP you can get 44 clients on this entire setup. So that's 44 times 8, or on Wi-Fi interrupt you can do 100 times 8, so that's 800 clients that you can link up to this solution. So yeah, this is the type of setup you'd have if you wanted sort of a larger scale micropop, but this is what it would do. So the A5C is capable of doing long distance applications as well. Right, and then we have the NID. So the NID is basically like a surge protector and a surge arrestor. The NID stands for Network Interface Device. Okay, it's designed for exterior wall mounting, providing outdoor technicians access to the device, to your client device, and it also gives electrostatic discharge protection, okay, and a grounding point for any installation. So if you look over here, you plug it up to your C5X outside your home, which you then link up to your C5X and then a ground rod to the ground. So if there's any sort of surge, it will most likely, protect the radio from the surge and send that surge straight into the ground, and that won't fry your devices. If you can see how it looks in this picture over here, you'll connect your A5X and your ground rod, which is this. And yeah, it's just easy for your technicians to also, if there's any issues with your client device, they can also sort of kind of access it through the net. Okay. And yeah, and then some accessories. We have, Mimosa has created their brackets to ensure, like, try and achieve easy installation, so you don't run around looking for brackets that can fit on the radio, and the radios that, yeah, and you have flexibility. So they've designed their own 2 brackets, which is called the Flexi Mount and the J Mount. So this one is the J Mount. This is for flat surfaces and extra tilt angle. And then we have the Flexi Mount, which is for vertical and horizontal poles, angled poles. So these are for more of your C5X. And also they've released an extended one, so this pole over here is quite longer. But yeah, they have these for easy installation. So that's something you can look at as well. And these are usually for your client devices, so that would make it super easy when you install. Okay, and then the Mimosa management tool. So that's the Mimosa Cloud. I just want to mention it is license free. And what's nice about it is, if you're a first-time Mimosa, or you're interested in trying out Mimosa, what's nice about it, you can simply just register on their website, and you will have access to their design tool, where you can check how the products will work. You can basically play around on the website and find out how Mimosa Cloud works, design your own links, and that can give you a better idea of how well, Mimosa's management system works. Now, with the management tools, obviously, once you, say for instance, you're an ISP and you have your network running, now the management tool is super, super effective, super easy to use. Through that, you can anticipate bulk of EMS and fault systems, so you don't have to run out to site whenever there's an issue. You can manage your problems via the cloud, check if everything's okay. That just saves time, because instead of you sending out technicians to the site and then they have to do the test there, you just check that on the website, on the cloud, and say, okay, here's the problem, this is how we can fix it. Maybe sometimes you don't even have to go out to fix it, you can fix it via the cloud. Okay, and then another cool feature is that you can define your ISP specific policies, so you can set up different rules for different clients. You can, yeah, so through the management system, you can set up different rules and regulations for your different clients. So that's what's one of the best the benefits of the cloud. And then the network advanced spectrum and wireless maintenance. So like I said earlier on, you can maintain your network via the cloud. You don't need to go around, send technicians to do tests and check your devices. You can check everything online. And then firmware management, you can also update firmware via the cloud for your device. Okay, and then cloud management, here's some more historical performance. So this helps, like in instances where, say, for the radio just dies out, and which is probably highly unlikely, but it fails or it's been shut down and you have no idea what has happened. But before you go onto site, you can pull a report of that radio and what happened to it before it crashed. And maybe you can, from the data given from the Mimosa Cloud Management, you can pick up what the issue might have been, and then you can resolve it in the best way possible. Okay, and then of course you can monitor all your devices, so everything of yours will be on the cloud. You will see what's active, what's moving, how they're performing. Everything can be seen by the cloud. Just makes it so much easier for ISVs and people who are starting up a small network, you know, and they don't necessarily have people to go out or the money to send people out. They can control everything via the cloud. So that's a really nice feature. Then the design tool, which I mentioned to you, it's available. It's free. All you have to do is register. And if you're a first-time user and you want to know more about it, you're more than welcome to sign up. Go to the design tool, play around there, see what works for you. Now, remember, the design tool will give you the most accurate. It will give you accurate information, but you must always remember it's not like if it's not what it says here is not necessarily what's going to be out there. You might find that when you go into site, there's a new building or a new tree or some changes that the map hasn't really, you know, the design tool hasn't really picked up. So it's always important that when you do use the design tool, just bear in mind that it's giving you the most accurate results that it can, but always make sure that you don't just depend on that. But yeah, as you can see, it's super detailed. It will give you everything. It will even show you the coverage of your AP. So I'm guessing this is the sector antenna and the A5C. So this is giving you a 45-degree angle coverage of this area. And, oh, sorry about that. Okay, where was I? Okay, yeah. So it's giving you the coverage, and obviously the dark blue is a lower DVI, and the further you go, it's a higher DVI. So there you can check and it will give you a nice detailed summary of everything. So that's something you can go and check out. Just simply register and yeah, look around. Okay, and then award-winning support team. I did mention that was one award that they have received, and with good reason, because now, as I mentioned, they operate in the US and Istanbul, Turkey. That allows them to rotate around the clock. So when one's down, the other's up, which means they can give you live 24-hour support. And I kid you not, it's live, it's not a forum. They're super, super efficient. If you just pop a message onto the little chat box, you will get a response within less than 2 minutes. And what's nice about it is if you lose connection or you accidentally close the window, they will email you immediately to ask you if your problem has been resolved. So this obviously you would look at if you have any problems during times where Miro isn't open. So please remember that Miro is trained up. We have qualified technician and support team that can assist you through your issues, obviously between Monday to Friday from 8 to 5. But for instance, if you're going out on site on a Saturday and you need assistance, you're more than welcome to pop onto the Mimosa website and ask them for help. And I can guarantee you will not be disappointed with the service that they give. So yeah, they're super helpful and supportive, and you can definitely depend on them if you have any issues with your installations. Okay, and then just to summarize everything, top reasons to choose Mimosa, like I mentioned, support, award-winning 24-hour support. That means that it's a live chat to someone. You don't have to go reading through forums and, you know, send an email and wait for days and hours for a reply. It's live support. And then the second thing is technology, SRS, non-intrusive integrated spectrum analyzer, auto everything, dual link, extended frequency. So that's something that really boosts the brand and gives it an edge, is the technology that has now developed within the brand. And then value, you know, the performance you're getting for the price you're paying is well worth it. And the product design, elegant, compact, lightweight, power efficient. I mean, you've seen it for yourself. They look very, very good. And yeah, they're good looking products. And ease of use, of course, with the cloud, everything can be easily managed and monitored. You know, you don't have to run on just site to look for problems, or yeah, with the cloud, everything's a bit easier. And then of course, performance, price to performance. As I mentioned, the performance you get out of these devices and the price you're paying is quite, it's quite fair and good. And then delivers hundreds of megabits per subscriber, fiber-like speeds, and full gigabit throughput in either direction. So yes, that brings this presentation to a conclusion. I do want to say that this is just an informative session. I know I didn't get into anything technical, but that's because we are going to put our technical training, Mimosa technical training, certified training on our online training platform. So for more information on that, please follow us on our social media or subscribe to our newsletters, and we will be able to give you information on the upcoming trainings for Mimosa. If you want to be certified on Mimosa, please let us know. We can assist you with that. So as I said, it's just an informative session, just to give you a bit more of an idea of what Mimosa is about, what they offer. And yeah, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening. And I hope you give Mimosa a try, because you will not be disappointed. Is there any questions from your side? Thank you everyone for joining, and take care and stay safe.
Yeah, thanks, Dish. Thank you very much. That was really informative. If anybody's got any questions, we'll give it a minute or so just to wait for you to maybe type it out. And then apart from that, I just want to quickly add, this was actually done on our IP Video Talk platform, which is a great new tool from, well, not new necessarily, but great tool from GrantStream. So fantastic tool for webinars and even your online meetings, etc. So once you do end the session, you will get a page that pops up just to offer you something like a free trial on it, and there's even a free permanent version that you can use. And this also goes great with GrantStream's VC systems and their audio conferencing systems, etc. So the physical hardware. So if you do have any questions on that, and if there's anything that we can help you on in terms of these video conferencing systems, please give us a shout, and we'll even help you plan out your entire design. That's it from my side. Thanks, Dish. There's no further questions, so I think we can call it a day.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe. Take care.